Hey guys, my name is Unique. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you are new to this channel, then you should know that the content covered here is financial literacy and Canadian immigration. If you feel like this content may be for you, then please comment, like, share, most importantly subscribe, and don't forget to hit that notification bell so you'll be the first to know whenever there's new content uploaded. If you are already an existing subscriber, welcome back. So today's video is going to focus on Canadian immigration. Finally, super excited. Specifically, we are going to be focusing on the family class and talking about spouses, common law partners, as well as conjugal partners, and dependent children as well. So this will be a two-part video only because there are other family members that fall into this category, such as aunts, uncles, brothers, sisters, nieces, nephews, parents, grandparents, adopted children. It's a long list. So stay tuned for the part 2 of this video. But today, like I said before, for this video, we are specifically going to be focusing on the spouses, common law, and conjugal partners and dependent children. Stay tuned, guys. So today we are finally talking about immigration. I'm super excited, guys. However, I want you to know that this is my disclaimer. I am not a Canadian immigration lawyer, nor am I a registered Canadian immigration consultant. However, I am a student at Humber College, completing my studies in Canadian immigration through distance learning to fulfill the requirements to become a registered Canadian immigration consultant. So I want you guys to know that the information that I'm bringing to you is from things that I have learned and continue to learn in my program. Also things that are easily accessible online. It's open to the public. Once I go through these immigration videos, I'll try to make reference in the description below of where you can go to find this information. I'll also try to go through the websites and do a screen share to show you guys how you can complete some of the application form and how to maneuver around the Canadian Immigration and Citizenship website. So I'm just going to jump right into it. So we are going to be talking about the foundation that Canada's immigration system is built on, and there's three. We are talking about the economic class, family reunification, and refugee and humanitarian and compassionate consideration. So like I said, today we're going to be specifically focusing on the family class. So when we talk about the family class, we are talking about spouses. I think it should be fairly easy to determine who's a spouse. Once you're married and that marriage is legal and legitimate, then you are considered a spouse. Doesn't matter if it's man and woman, woman and man, woman and woman, whatever, you're considered as a spouse. When you talk about conjugal partners, this means someone that has been in a relationship for under a year and would not be considered as a common law partner. And some things that may cause a person not to be considered as a common law partner but a conjugal partner is because they were not able to fulfill that 1 year live-in requirement with their partner. For example, that spouse had to end up leaving, the country for work. They were living together for 8-9 months. They were 3 months shy of being considered a common law. So, you can still put in an application under conjugal partner, whereas a common law is considered as people who have lived together under the same roof for 1 year. And you can send in your application under the common law status or part. So we are going to be talking about what a visa officer or immigration officer may be looking at when you submit your application, when you're considering approval for your application. We're going to also be talking about what may make a person, a sponsor or a principal applicant inadmissible, which means that they will not be eligible to put through an application, or they can put through the application, but the application will be denied because they are considered as inadmissible. So I'm going to go through, some things that can cause a person to be inadmissible, both from the principal applicant side as well as the sponsor side. When we talk about principal applicant, that is the person that is being sponsored. When we talk about sponsor, that I think that should be clear, that's a person that's sponsoring the principal applicant or the sponsored person. Okay, so things that can cause a person to be inadmissible for the sponsor side. Well, if the sponsor is on welfare, which some people may know as social assistance. In Ontario, I believe it's called Ontario Works. In Alberta, I believe it's called AISH. For the other provinces, I'm not sure what it's called, but overall it's called social assistance. Many people refer to it as welfare. So if your sponsor is on welfare, they will not be eligible or meet the requirements to sponsor the principal applicant. In other words, they will be considered inadmissible. Okay, the only way a sponsor can sponsor a principal applicant while on welfare is if they are on welfare due to disability. Okay, so let me just put this in clear terms so you understand, and I'm speaking for my Caribbean people here. If you're married to somebody from the Caribbean and you look upon your spouse live in Canada and you're expecting them to sponsor you, if them dep on welfare, it not gonna work. Don't waste the time. It's a waste of your time. It's a waste of their time. It's a waste of the immigration officer's time, and it's a waste of money. Okay, so if they want to sponsor you, tell them to go find a job. Tell them to make sure they have an actual job, that they're able to meet the financial requirement in order to be able to sponsor you. The other thing that may cause a sponsor to be inadmissible is if the sponsor is a permanent resident and while they submitted the application, they end up in some legal issues and they have a charge that causes them to spend over 6 months in jail. That sponsor, being a permanent resident, can actually lose your permanent residency status as a result, which would mean that they would be inadmissible to even sponsor you, the person, as they would at some point be stripped of their permanent residency and be deported back to their country. So when we're talking about inadmissibility from the principal's applicant side, it would be if the principal applicant has a charge and that charge, when the Canadian government looks at that charge, if they consider that charge equivalent to time being spent more than 6 months in jail, or it was they were expected to do a maximum time of like 10 years, but they didn't have to do all that time, but they spent like say a year in jail, then that could cause the person to be inadmissible. I'm guessing that's something that you can possibly fight, but from what I've learned, that person would be considered as inadmissible. So another thing that can cause a sponsor and principal applicant to both be inadmissible is if the marriage is considered as not genuine, which means that when the immigration officer is looking at your application, there is not enough evidence to tell them that this marriage is genuine. So from their point of view, they're saying that you only got in this marriage for the convenience of gaining permanent residence status. There are certain things that they look at in order to consider whether or not a marriage or common law partnership or conjugal partnership is genuine. They're looking at if you guys share children together. They want to see phone records of communication back and forth between you and your partner. They want to see if you and your partner have gone on trips together or just outings together. They want to see if family members have also partaken in the the relationship by being present at certain functions. So with saying that, you're going to want to make sure that you're sending in supporting letters from family members and friends that can vouch that this union is actually genuine. These people, have known you for a long time. They've gone out, with you on outings or at certain events. So these are some of the things that they're looking at. In my personal opinion, I feel as though once a couple has a child together, I feel like the question of whether or not the relationship is genuine is not considered as much anymore, because I'm guessing they're thinking, who's really gonna have a child with someone just to get a permanent residency status, right? Anyways, so yeah, so once you have a child together, I feel like that lessens that question of whether or not the relationship is genuine. But if you don't have a child together, like I said, you can make sure you have the supporting documents, make sure that you have photos. If you're going to be doing the application and you're going to be submitting those photos, you want to ensure that at the back of those photos you write down where the photo was taken, the date the photo was taken. You are gonna, if you're sending money back and forth, the spouse is sending money through Western Union or money transfer, MoneyGram, whatever, to wherever you're living, to the principal applicant, you're gonna want to ensure that you can show all that proof. If your sponsor is taking trips to and from to come and visit you, you are going to want to ensure that you can provide proof of those plane tickets. All it does is help your application process, because it's showing that, yep, this marriage is, or this relationship is actually genuine. When we're talking about dependent children, we're talking about children 22 and under. Okay, so those people are classified as dependent children. For a child to be considered a dependent child over the age of 22 is if that child has some form of mental or health, issue, and as a result of that, that child has been dependent on you since birth and will continue to be dependent on you for the rest of their lives. Once your spouse or partner gets into Canada, you are responsible for them financially for 3 years. For the child, you will be responsible for the child for 10 years. For example, if during this period of time, if your spouse comes to Canada, that 3-year time frame that you're responsible for them for financially, if this marriage breaks down or this relationship breaks down and you guys are no longer together, if that person chooses to go off and go on government welfare or social assistance, you, the sponsor, will have to repay the government back every single dollar of that welfare that is being given to the person that you sponsor to Canada. The same thing will apply for children. You're responsible for them for 10 years. Same thing, if they choose to go on government welfare or social assistance, whatever you want to call it, you will be financially responsible for that bill. You're going to have to cover that bill. If you, the sponsor, or the principal applicant, has gained permanent residency by a Canadian citizen or permanent residency or permanent resident sponsoring you to come into Canada, if that relationship breaks down and you guys are no longer together and you end up in a new relationship and you are now wanting to sponsor someone to come into Canada for permanent residency status, you will not be able to do so unless you have fulfilled a 5-year requirement. So 5 years has to pass before you will be able to sponsor someone to get their permanent resident status, as you yourself was sponsored by a permanent resident or a Canadian citizen in order to get your permanent residency status. Hi guys, so I'm going to be showing you how to maneuver the Immigration and Citizenship website. You are just going to type immigration and citizenship into Google and you're going to select this link here. Once you do so, you are going to scroll down and we are going to select immigrate. Once we do that, we are going to hit the family sponsorship option. Scroll down, and we are going to want to select sponsor your spouse, partner, or dependent children, because that's the topic I was covering today. And then we're just going to simply hit how to apply. If you are trying to complete this process on your own, I recommend that you read through all the different options provided. But for this purpose, we're simply going to hit how to apply. And once we select how to apply, we're just going to scroll down, and we are going to select application package. When you select application package, you scroll down, it will show you all the forms that you are required to complete after you select the appropriate field that applies to you. So as you can see, the different selections, you can see spouse, common law partners, conjugal partners, or just simply dependent children alone. We are going to be selecting spouse for the purpose of this video. Select a country for the purpose of this video. I'm just going to select Jamaica, enter, and scroll down. Make your selection if applicable to you. So what this is asking is if Jamaica has any specific requirements when it comes to any of these documents. Okay, so we're going to hit get checklist and forms. And here is where you will see all the documents that is required in order to submit a completed sponsorship application. So you will see the forms that the sponsor is required to complete, and the forms that the principal applicant, which is the person being sponsored, is should complete. So I think that concludes my video for today, guys. I'm pretty sure, if there's certain things that I'm forgetting, I will ensure to put it in the part 2 video where I will be talking about parents and grandparents, aunts, uncles, nieces, nephews, and all that good stuff. If you have specific questions that you would like to ask me, please feel free to leave it in the comment section below, and I will try my best to respond to those comments. If you have specific topics that you'd like to have me discuss in regards to immigration, leave it in the comment section below, and I will try to create content to cover, some of the questions that you guys are asking. If you guys like this video, please remember to comment, like, share. Most importantly, subscribe, and do not forget to hit that notification bell so you will be the first to know whenever there is a new video uploaded. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you on the next video. Bye.